As you might know, the Swiss school system is quite different from other systems in that students after primary school, they are placed in different ability levels, and this can really be up to 4 different ability streams or ability levels after primary school. Let's have a look at how that works all the way up from kindergarten. So, depending on where you are, your child will be in kindergarten usually 2 years, from the ages of 4 to 6. Then you have primary school. This is in most cantons 6 years. So roughly at the age of 11, 12, you will find the streaming process. Streaming means that children will be observed by the teacher. There will be lots of assessment, exams, etc., and tests to determine where your child should be in which ability stream. Let's have a look how the different ability streams look. So in some cantons, you have the so-called 2-year pre-baccalaureate gymnasium or Untergymnasium. That is the academic stream for probably the 20% top students in a class. The majority, around 45%, will be streamed into secondary school. In secondary school, again, you have different streams. Here, this is the higher ability stream. Then you also have the intermediate ability stream. And in some cantons only, you will also find the basic stream. So depending on where you are, as I'm saying, this could be with the pre-baccalaureate stream or without it, or some cantons only really have 1 or 2 ability streams. Others don't do the basic stream at all. So it really depends on where you are. Okay. What is really interesting is where does it actually lead? So let's start with the academic stream. This is, for instance, in Canton Zug and Zurich. Children, as I'm saying, the top 20% will be streamed into the so-called Langzeitgymnasium or the academic preschool. In parts of, for instance, Lausanne or Ticino, you won't find that stream, nor will you find it in other cantons like in Schwyz, for example. And also entry into that stream really depends. For instance, in Zurich, children have to sit an entrance exam. So depending on 50% the grades and 50% entrance exam, children will be placed into the Langzeitgymnasium. In Zug, for example, there won't be any entrance exam. This really depends on the grades. Okay, so after 2 years, these children will then be placed into, or will be transitioned to the 4-year senior academic school, the so-called Kurzzeitgymnasium. And this is really the most direct, but not the only way into university. At the end of the 6-year gymnasium, students sit what is called a Matura. That's the university entrance qualification. And with the so-called Matura, they will gain access into any Swiss university. There are also different types of Matura that you can do at other schools, so I'll be talking about that in a bit. Okay, so this is really the most direct way, and this is typically what between 15 and 20% of students would do in Switzerland. Another popular way is the secondary, the higher stream. It's got different names depending on where you are. In Zurich, it's called Sek A. In Zug or Schwyz, it's called Sekundar, and in other cantons, it's got yet different names. So this is usually where students go for 2 years or 3 years. After 2 years, students can attempt to join the 4-year senior academic school. In Zurich, they will have to sit an entrance exam. And again, in other cantons, it depends on grades and the grade average. So as you see, there are 2 ways into the gymnasium route and the university route, which is either directly gymnasium or through the secondary school, 2 years. Other students also stay in secondary and then might join what is called the higher secondary specialist school, the Fachmittelschule. This is also for academic studies, but in a more specialized field, for instance, business studies or informatics or healthcare. And with that, students also gain what is called the so-called Matura, the Fachmatura. So that is a specialist high school degree, which doesn't lead directly into university. However, students will gain access into what is called the University of Applied Sciences, or FH. Okay. Also from secondary, so either you have on the left-hand side or on the middle, the more academic pathway, or the more vocational pathway. This means after 3 years of secondary school, students look for an apprenticeship, vocational training or education. This is usually for 3 years. However, students also have the options to do an extra year or even do it alongside their vocational training. And with that, they can also gain what is called the so-called professional high school degree. That is yet another way into the University of Applied Sciences. As you will see, there's also the secondary, the intermediate stream. So from both secondary higher stream or the intermediate stream, students can opt for vocational training, and this in combination with a 1 year entry or a 1 year exam, a so-called Berufsmatura, will grant them access into the University of Applied Sciences. This university also offers bachelor and master's programs, and compared to traditional university, it has a more practice-based focus, but is also very reputable university programs for students wishing to gain a bachelor or master's. Also, if students would like to go to traditional university or the ETH, they even have the option of doing 1 more year, which is the so-called Passerelle. And this leads to a university entrance qualification for all universities in Switzerland. So as you can see, there are many, many, many different pathways, either the left-hand side, the more academic pathway, or the middle one, which really can lead into academic studies or vocational studies. The right-hand side, which is a more vocational pathway. But as you can see, you can really combine different areas, so vocational training with academic studies, etc. And the outcome can, for all 3 streams, be the same one. Okay, so yeah, just so that you can see the ages here. What are some of the strengths and weaknesses of the Swiss education system? I think the main strength really, as you've seen, it's very permeable, so you can really change streams. And there are so many ways, really always leading to Rome in the Swiss system. Another, I think, really good or really strength of the system is there is never an end to the road. Yeah, there are always catch-up programs, there are always further qualifications, even for students who go and do vocational training. They might work for 4 years and then still decide to do a university entrance degree and go to university in Switzerland. That's absolutely possible. Also, I think a big strength is that academic and vocational skills are equally valued. Okay, some of the challenges is that the selection process or the streaming starts quite early, obviously, around the age of 12. Also, depending on where you are, which canton, it can be more difficult or more challenging to get into the more academic streams than in other places. And also, it is, as I'm saying, quite difficult for some students to change from the lower streams to the upper streams, but it's not impossible. Okay. Right. So that was a very, very quick overview. Depending on where you are, as I'm saying, it might look different. So if you have any questions on the different educational pathways in Switzerland, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me. I do offer private face-to-face consultations. Below are my details, swisseducationconsulting.ch. So yeah, drop me a line or get in touch.